ఎస్పరేట్ ఇచ్చాడా ఇప్పుడు మీ కెమెరా వేస్తాను
Good morning, one and all present here. Before the commencement of the convocation today, I request all of you to please put on your cell phones on silent mode or switch off. I repeat, kindly put on your cell phones on silent mode or switch them off. Good morning, everyone. It is a sheer delight to welcome you all to the 10th Convocation of the ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education. I request our Chancellor, Dr. C. Rangarajan, to declare the convocation open.
I hereby declare the convocation open.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. J. Mahinder Reddy, Vice Chancellor, IFHE University, to present the annual report.
Respected Chancellor, Dr. C. Rangarajan, Mrs. Shobharani SSV, Chairperson, Mr. V.R. Shankara, President, Mr. Ian Murthy, Member Secretary, the ICFAI Society, distinguished members of the Board of Management of the ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education, members of the Academic Council, the Finance Committee, and the Planning and Monitoring Board, members of the faculty, staff, and graduating students, parents, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to you all. We are honored by the presence of our Chancellor, Dr. C. Rangarajan. On this occasion, we look to him as a source of inspiration in our pursuit of excellence. For the benefit of students, graduating students, and others, I would like to share with you a few achievements of Dr. Rangarajan. Dr. Chakravarti Rangarajan, the Chancellor of the University, is a leading economist who has played a key role both as an academic and as a policy maker in India. He has held several important positions which include Governor of the Reserve Bank of India and Governor of Andhra Pradesh. Dr. Rangarajan was the Chairman of Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister. He was also the Chairman of the 12th Finance Commission. After completing his honours degree from the then Madras, he obtained his PhD from the world-renowned University of Pennsylvania. He taught at the Wharton School of Finance and also at the Graduate School of Business Administration in New York University, and served at the International Food Policy Research Institute in Washington, D.C. He also taught at IIM Ahmedabad for almost 2 decades. He was the president of the Indian Economic Association in 1988 and again was honored as the president of the centenary year 2017 of the association. He was also president of the Indian Econometric Society. He is the only economist in India who has these 3 distinctions. Dr. Rangarajan is a recipient of several prestigious awards. Notable among them are the Honorary Fellow of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, Alumni Award for Outstanding Leadership given by the Wharton India Economic Forum, and the Finance Man of the Decade awarded by the Bombay Management Association. In recognition of his distinguished service to the country, the President of India honored him with the Padma Vibhushan in 2002. On June 29, 2020, he received Professor P.C. Mahalarabi's prestigious National Award in Official Statistics in the Lifetime Achievement category for the year 2020. This was in recognition of the numerous distinguished and outstanding contributions he has made to the Indian statistical system. He is currently Chairman Madras School of Economics, which is an institute of special importance conferred by the government of Tamil Nadu, and also President C.R. Rao Advanced Institute for Mathematics, Statistics and Computer Science. A most cordial welcome to you, sir. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought in many changes in the world. It has forced education institutions all over the globe to shift to online operations. At IFHE, we are conducting all classes and all examinations online. We have also conducted a number of conferences, panel discussions, and hundreds of seminars online. Similarly, a number of internships and placements have been taken up online. The meetings of the Board of Management, yesterday we had one, Planning and Monitoring Board, Academic Council, day before yesterday we had the Academic Council meeting, Strategic Management Committee, and several other committee meetings have all been conducted online. Today, the convocation is being held online for the first time in the history of the university. I am happy that the transition has been smooth and that the faculty, students, and support staff have adapted to this change quite well. You will be glad to know that in the admission process for MBA class of 21-23, where classes start on May 17, 2021, it concluded on February 26th. The number of applications received and the number of students appeared for the online interview, everything was online, were higher than the last year where it was based on personal interviews. I am also happy to inform you that we plan to start online MBA program shortly, which will provide opportunities to the eligible students not only across the country but the entire globe. Now I go to accreditations and rankings. IBS Hyderabad received the AACSB International Accreditation in February 2020, valid up until 2025, for 3 of its programs, BBA, MBA, and PhD. This is somewhat unique in the country. To get 3 programs accredited is unique. This is the highest standard of achievement for business schools worldwide. Earning of this accreditation confirms IFHE's commitment to high quality and to the continuous improvement of its management programs brought about by a rigorous and comprehensive peer review. Monthly meetings. Now, ever since we got this accreditation, we have monthly meetings, and the monthly meetings are held to review the progress for preparing the midterm report and also as a preparation for the next cycle of AACSB accreditation. SACS, in the year 2006, the business school became the first in Asia to get the accredited by SACS. It was re-accredited in the year 2012 and re-accredited in August 2020, valid up until August 2025. Regular monthly review meetings are held again for preparatory work for the next cycle. NAC. We got NAC accreditation with A+ grade in the year 2015, valid till December 2020. We are now preparing for re-accreditation by NAC under the new paradigm. The university has been awarded the Extraordinary Brand by Brand Vision for the year 2019-20. The university has been awarded Top University in Innovation for the year 2020 by Competition Success Review magazine. The university was ranked in the range of 76 to 80 in the entire country under the London-based QS University Rankings India for the year 2020. It was ranked in the range of 501 to 550 among all Asian universities. The university was ranked 9th by Education World among the private universities in India for the year 2020, up from 16th last year. NIRF rankings. The business school of the university was ranked 25th under the management category by the National Institutional Ranking Framework for the year 2020. Last year its rank was 26th. We have submitted information on the entire university and also on the Faculty of Management and the Faculty of Science and Technology as well as Law for the NIRF rankings for the year 2021. The Faculty of Science and Technology has been ranked first in the category of top 10 emerging engineering colleges in 2020 by Silicon India. ICFAI Law School has been ranked number 3 among the top government and private law schools in the country and number 1 in the state of Telangana by Competition Success Review magazine. Careers 360 ranked ICFAI Law School as the 7th best among the private law colleges in the country in the year 2021. Now I will spend a minute on awards. The ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education was awarded India's Most Admirable Education Brand by the Brand Story on December 4, 2020 for offering high-quality education, holistic development, and progressive opportunities to students. The university has been recognized among leading universities in India category by Business World as part of the Top Education Brand Awards event. The jury for the selection process was made up of distinguished educationists. Jury chair was Dr. Anil Sahasrabuddhe, Chairman AICTE, and several other distinguished members. The chief patron of the Golden AIM Awards honored the Vice Chancellor of the university with the Most Dedicated Vice Chancellor Award on September 11, 2020 in recognition of his professional efforts. Similarly, the Global Economic Progress and Research Association honored the Vice Chancellor with the Bharata Ratna Dr. Radhakrishnan Gold Medal Award for excellence in his field on the occasion of the 77th National Unity Conference on Individual Achievements and National Development on October 10, 2020 in Bangalore. Now we go to UGC approvals. I am very happy to tell you that the UGC expert committee visited the university during January 21-22 to consider January 21-22 in 2020 to consider conferment of 12B status, and it has recommended the approval, and finally we got the approval status, and I am sure this will give a big boost to research and research output and getting grants from several government agencies such as the UGC, the ICSSR, the newly created National Research Foundation, and several governmental departmental ministries. Off-campus Bangalore. Another UGC expert committee visited our campus at Hyderabad and the proposed off-campus center at Bangalore on December 25 and 26, 2019. The committee visited and we are awaiting a decision from the ministry. AICTE approval. For the third consecutive year, we participated in the AICTE approval process by uploading the required data on February 29, 2020. On June 13, 2020, we received the extension of approval for the MBA program, executive MBA programs and engineering programs offered by the university for the academic year 2021. Work is in progress to get the approvals for the year 21-22. Now, research. Research is an extremely important part of any university. Even as per the national education policy, research and teaching are two sides of the same coin. And I wish to tell you all that university places substantial emphasis on research. And what is presented on the screen here is the output, research output. For example, 243 Scopus listed journal articles were published. Similarly, 179 A-star A and B in Australian Business Dean Council category, 138 international and national conference papers, 182 seminars, 1198 books and book chapters, and 17 editorships. There are, among the faculty, there are 17 editors who edit and publish the IUP published journals in management, science and technology, and law. 49 patents were filed. We now go to the Case Research Center. The business school of the university follows the case approach in its teaching. It has a globally renowned Case Research Center. It has emerged as one of the world's top 3 case publishing schools after the prestigious Case Awards of the Case Center's office at Cranfield University in UK and Babson College in the United States. Since then, the most successful winners have been Harvard Business School, INSEAD, and ICFAI Business School. So ICFAI is bracketed with top schools in the world. In the year 2020, the business school again emerged as the most successful institute in terms of total number of worldwide bestsellers, next only to Harvard Business School. One of our faculty members, Professor Devapratim Purkayastha, who is watching this program, was declared as the #1 best-selling author of management case studies by the Case Center in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20, in a list otherwise dominated by Harvard, INSEAD, and IMD professor. I congratulate Professor Devapratim Purkayastha for this outstanding achievement. Now, the Case Awards from other world-renowned organizations is presented on the screen. These are Maxwell School of Governance in Syracuse University, China-Europe International Business School, OICOS International Switzerland, and EFMD Brussels. We now go to the Center for Banking and Finance. The Center for Banking and Finance was inaugurated by our Chancellor, Professor C. Rangarajan, on November 29, 2019. On the same occasion, Professor Rangarajan inaugurated a seminar on non-performing assets and its resolution in Indian banks, a very important topic currently. It was attended by about 50 eminent persons from banking and academia. The National Education Policy 2020 of the Government of India emphasizes on innovation and creativity. The Prime Minister has emphasized several times on the importance of innovation and creativity, and it is being converted into teaching in the universities. The ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education has an Institutions Innovation Council recognized by the Ministry of Education to promote innovation and startups at the university. We want to create more startups. IFHE's ICFAI Institute Innovation Council was upgraded to 3-star in 2020 by the Ministry of Education. This year, the IIC successfully promoted the creation of student clubs in all the schools so as to decentralize and thus give a greater thrust to the fostering of innovation and the startup ecosystem. IFHE is making plans to establish its own incubator shortly so as to incubate startup teams. During the year, we saw the first ever cohort being started for a pre-incubation workshop. From a total of 22 teams that were selected for this workshop, 2 have been shortlisted to go into the incubation phase, increasing in creating an active environment toward co-innovation. IFHE signed MOUs with 2 Atal Innovation Centers and is in the process of signing similar MOUs with select industry partners. Now, there are other centers of excellence. The university wants to promote research through centers of excellence. Now, what are the other centers of excellence? These other centers of excellence are listed on the screen. Women development, which is very important, cyber law and data protection, environmental law, corporate and commercial law, intellectual property rights, criminal law, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, additive manufacturing, and 3D printing. These centers are in the initial stages of development, and the idea is for them to emerge as excellent research centers in collaboration with industry and government. They are not physical spaces, but intellectual spaces guided by selected members of the faculty in collaboration with external experts. School of Architecture. The ICFAI School of Architecture was established in the year 2018 and offers a 5-year full-time B.Arch degree program which is recognized by the Council of Architecture. The school has organized several workshops and seminars. It is in its 3rd year and the first batch is expected to graduate in the year 2023. We come to Management Development Program. The university has a strong industry interface through management development programs for the public and private sectors and the government. To strengthen this interface, we offered 21 management development programs consisting of 1535 participant days during the year. I now come to the Staff College, which is a very important part of the university. The ICFAI Staff College conducted about 50 faculty development programs covering diverse themes for capacity building among the faculty members and professional and staff. Notable among these programs were webinar on implementation of national education policy. Implementation. Policy is there. Committee has formulated. The cabinet has approved the policy. But the question is implementation. So we had a seminar on implementation of national education policy 2020 addressed by Professor R.P. Kaushik, a member of our board of management who is here now, and Professor R. Natarajan, and training of faculty members on using smart boards for effective teaching. I also wish to mention about the 5-day online design thinking workshop conducted during February 5 to 9, funded by the AICTE, which our university has won in a competition, in a tough competition. The special lectures have been delivered by the NJSSV Memorial Lectures and also the Foundation Day Lecture. The 8th and 9th NJSSV Memorial Lectures were delivered by Richard McCracken, Director, Case Center in UK, and the 9th by Jagdish Sheth, Distinguished Professor of Marketing at Emory University in the United States. The 10th and 11th Foundation Day Lectures were by Anil Sahasrabudhe and also by Venu Srinivasan. Anil Sahasrabudhe is the chairman of the AICTE. Venu Srinivasan is chairman of the Sundaram Clayton Group in Chennai. All these lectures were presided by our Honorable Chancellor. We have several distinguished visitors. The list is presented on the screen. On the screen, can you? Megha Madan of Emory University, Jean Gatewood of University of Rochester, Emma Sugreaves of Manchester Metropolitan University, Honorable Justice Mohan Pierce of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, former Chief Justice. Addresses by the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor participated in a number of seminars and webinars, including an interactive session on the Union Budget 2020-21 with the Union Finance Minister and her team of secretaries. He also delivered a keynote address on the topic Quality in Higher Education at the 16th World Education Summit organized by ELETS in association with the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Government of Telangana in Hyderabad in February 2020. The Vice Chancellor also participated in the special meeting of the SACS Council of Association of Management Development Institutes in South Asia, convened virtually on February 4, 2021, to deliberate on the SACS protocols for peer reviews and mentor virtual visits. The meeting was attended by Professor Errol D'Souza, Director of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, Professor Rajan Saxena, former Vice Chancellor of NMIMS, Mr. Christopher Terrace, Director International Projects, EFMD in Brussels, Dr. Jeff Perry, Singapore-based Executive Vice President and Chief Officer of AACSB International. I now come to student activities. Students' co-curricular and extracurricular activities remain at the core of the philosophy of education. They are the most important stakeholders in the university. The university has 48 student clubs which provide a platform to the students to continuously hone their leadership, managerial and technical skills. These clubs conducted close to 1,000 face-to-face events and participated in numerous competitions. Now, I'll just take two examples. First, the students of IFHE emerged winners in the competitions, winners in fests conducted by IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Lucknow, I am Kashipur, Rohtak, XIMB, IMT Nagpur, IMT Hyderabad, SP Jain, FMS Delhi, and Symbiosis Institute in Hyderabad. Symbiosis Institute in Pune and Hyderabad. We also take pride in announcing that our students were selected in top corporate competitors like what is spelled out on the board, like Voyo Rooms, Tata Crucible, Hackathon, Kotavas B School Connect, McDonald's Research Project, Zippy's Challenge, and Business Line on-campus case study competitions, to name a few. The university also celebrated International Yoga Day, Independence Day, Teachers Day, Swami Vivekananda birth anniversary, Republic Day, International Blood Donors Day, Swachhata Pakwada, and also Vigilance Awareness Week 2019 from October 28 to November 2, 2019, coinciding with the birth anniversaries of Vallabhbhai Patel and 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi on October 3, 2019. During the lockdown and the post-lockdown period, students conducted more than 500 events online. Some of the major events include Trishna, the Management and Cultural Fest, Trishna, the Management and Cultural Fest. Some of the major events in Krishna, the Management and Cultural Fest, AVEG, Online Sports Fest, Sankriya, Operations Fest, and CSUIT, the Boardroom Challenge, Blockchain, CSUIT, the Boardroom, Blockchain as a game changer, and LexNot 2020, etc. All the events have seen tremendous response, not only from the university but also from other schools, making the events a grand success. Placements for the academic year 2019-20 were very satisfactory for all graduating students who opted for placements. With 95% of the MBA students being placed, the placements continued even during the lockdown. Most BBA students have either opted for higher studies or have joined their family businesses. Among the law graduates, the majority have started practice. Those looking for placements have been placed. The BTech program, about 25% planned to go in for higher studies, while 30% were placed based on face-to-face interviews and 20% were placed based on online interviews. Graduating students. Following is the list of graduating students. The list is shown on the screen. There are two students who will be receiving PhD degrees in this convocation. 1179 MBA, 84 MMS, 2 Executive MBA, 574 BBA, 141 BTech, 84 BBA LLB, and 4 LLM. It is gratifying to mention that Apollo Hospitals have instituted 2 awards in the name of the founder, Shri N.J. SSV. One for the best teacher for overall excellence, carrying a citation and a cash award of rupees 1 lakh, and the other for the best student for overall excellence, carrying a cash prize of rupees 50,000. This is funded by the Apollo Hospitals. In addition, 6 students will receive gold medals and 5 will receive silver medals in this convocation. To sum up, the year has been a great one for us in terms of excellence in teaching, research, and practice. I congratulate the students for bringing laurels to the university and for contributing to the development of this institution. I wish to place on record my gratitude to the Ministry of Education, the University Grants Commission, and the All India Council for Technical Education for their continued support in the management of our university. I also wish to express my deep sense of gratitude for the tremendous support and cooperation we have received from the ICFAI Society, as well as members of the Board of Management, Academic Council, Finance Committee, Planning and Monitoring Board, IQAC, the Board of Studies of various faculties, and the Strategic Management Committee. I would like to make a special mention of the parents of our students and all the graduating students who are participating online in this convocation. We value your virtual presence immensely. I take this opportunity to convey my sincere thanks to all the stakeholders of the university, teachers, staff, students, and alumni for their unstinted cooperation. Thank you for your patient hearing. Now I request the Chancellor to present the convocation address.
Mrs. Sobarani SSV, Mr. V. Shankara, Professor Mahendra Reddy, members of the Board of Management, faculty and staff, graduating students, and distinguished invitees. It gives me great pleasure to be in your midst, of course, mostly virtually this morning, and not only to preside over, but also to deliver the 10th Convocation address of the university. It is indeed very heartening to listen to the report of the Vice-Chancellor. I congratulate the Vice-Chancellor and his colleagues and the university on the progress it has made and the initiatives it has taken to make the program at the university both relevant and meaningful. The students who graduate from the university must not only have adequate knowledge in the disciplines they may have chosen to study, but also be creative enough to apply that knowledge to solve the problems that confront the nation. To be bold and initiative is a need of the hour. Let me congratulate all the students who are graduating today. Let me add a word of special appreciation to those who are receiving medals and awards. This is an occasion for celebration for all of you, as your academic efforts have come to a successful fruition. As you enter a new stage in your life, your future is intertwined with the future of this country. But at the same time, you have the opportunity to shape it. Youth is full of idealism and ambition. Idealism without ambition may not achieve much. On the other hand, ambition without idealism is dangerous. May you combine the two in the right proportion. We are at the threshold of sweeping changes in higher education in India. The three dimensions of the reform of higher education have to be access, equity, and quality. Broadening the access is extremely important when we see the gross enrollment rate much below what it is in the developed countries. Equity is important, is vital, in order to ensure that the underprivileged communities also share the benefits of education. Equally important is the promotion of quality. I do hope that the new arrangements that are put in place give enough freedom and space to individual universities to experiment and innovate on their own. With the arrival of 2021, the Liberalization Regime, launched in 1991, completes 30 years. 1991 is an important landmark in the post-independence economic history of the country. The country faced an acute economic crisis triggered by a severe balance of payments problem. The crisis, however, was converted into an opportunity to bring about fundamental changes in India's economic policy. It was marked by three important changes or breaks with the past. One was to dismantle the vast network of controls and permits that dominated the economic system. Second was to redefine the role of the state. And the third was to move away from a regime of import substitution and to integrate fully with the global system. The new regime gave us a much faster rate of growth, even though there is some concern with the recent decline in the growth rate. We have another crisis now, today. In recent memory, this is the first economic crisis that has been triggered by a non-economic factor, a pandemic. The various measures taken to control or to prevent the spread of the virus, more particularly the lockdown, are brought to a grinding halt the wheels of economic activity. It is only with the relaxation of the controls that the economy has started moving. In the first half of 2020-21, the economy shrank by 15.7%. There will be, and there has been, some pickup in the second half. Most analysts now think that the economy will shrink by 8% for the year as a whole. The latest estimate of CSO is also 8%. If only the Indian economy, it's important to note this, if only the Indian economy grows by 8.7% in 2020-21, will we be compensating for the decline in the economic activity during 2021? As the saying goes, we need to run fast to stand where we are. The recent budget has projected the growth rate for 21-22 at 10.5%. It sounds a little optimistic. Even then, we must remember that the 2 years taken together, the growth rate will be 2.8%, and an annual average rate of 1.4% per annum. We as a nation really need to organize ourselves to get back to the high growth path as early as possible. We need to stabilize first. Stability essentially means bringing the economy back to the level where it was in March 2020, and then begin to grow fast from that point onwards. In a situation where the economy is stuck because of a weakening of demand, the standard advice given is always to increase government expenditure. This will have the effect of pushing, not only pushing the economy, but also providing a stimulus to private demand and private activity. The earlier analysts did not make a distinction between one type of expenditure and another. In fact, the famous statement that has become very common is digging holes and filling them up again. That any type of expenditure is okay, but that is no longer true. I think analysts have now found out that capital expenditures, that is, expenditures which result in the creation of assets, is far more important than other types of expenditure. In this context, the emphasis in the recent budget on capital expenditures is welcome. Relative to GDP, the proportion of capital expenditures is expected to increase from 1.6% in 2019-20 to 2.3% in 2020-21 and to 2.6% in 2021-22, which is in fact a good sign and which is a welcome departure from the past. The budgeted increase in capital expenditure, of course, will also have to be complemented by other participants in the capital expenditure program, which means the private industry, the public enterprises, as well as the state governments. Therefore, the infrastructure pipeline about which they are talking about will be completed only if all the other participants are also willing and ready to fulfill the program of capital expenditures. The revenue augmentation, I will summarize what I have written here, is equally important because we can have any type of expenditure budget, but unless we are able to raise adequate revenues, then it will not be possible. Of course, you can incur a fiscal deficit, a point to which I shall come a little later, but there are some limits on that. For 21-22, the budgeted increase in centre's gross tax revenues is dependent upon the nominal GDP growth of 14.4%, with a buoyancy of 1.6%, 1.6 for direct taxes and 0.8 for indirect taxes. That is, when you calculate the revenue for any particular year in a budget, the two important things are what is the likely increase in the nominal GDP during the year, and what will be the response of taxes to the rise in the GDP. That is what the economists call the buoyancy. The first is the nominal rate of growth in the economy. Now, in the written speech, you will find more details. I will skip the details, but let me only point out that the nominal GDP growth of 14.4% appears to be a little optimistic, but it is still possible. And the buoyancy that one is expecting, particularly in the direct taxes, seems to be pitched a little high. But even though we are starting from a low base, because 2020-21 was a decline in the revenue, and therefore we are calculating the rise in the revenue in 21-22 over a low base. Both with respect to non-tax revenue and non-debt creating capital receipts, which is a very high-sounding name, non-debt creating capital receipts, which essentially means disinvestment of the economy. That is, selling the shares of the public enterprises. Now, there was a big program outlined even for 2021 in terms of disinvestment, which did not happen. In 21-22, again, there's a fairly large disinvestment program that has been projected in the budget, but it's a big question mark how far it will happen. But the finance minister in the budget did talk about a great deal of change in the philosophy of the government in terms of disinvestment. But we have to wait and see. The question is, as we decide to grow faster, what are the two things about which one need to consider? One, what is the role of reforms in terms of the faster rate of growth in the economy? In accelerating growth, the reform agenda is important. The reform agenda released post-1991 had an enormous impact at that particular time. It released the energies of entrepreneurs to build a strong economy. But that reform agenda constituted a paradigm shift. If you look at it in terms of the evolution of the economic system in our country, that was an important step that made a break with the past, as I said, in three important ways. We are not looking for a paradigm shift today now. My own view is that it is really important to look at each sector of the economy and to see how far the principle of liberalization has been applied and how to make each sector of the economy more competent, more efficient, and more competitive. I think that should be the approach. Reforms have come in for criticism, but that is not unusual. Even the reforms of 1991 attracted criticism. Those of you may remember when the historic budget of Manmohan Singh was presented in the parliament. It was preceded by a large amount of pandemonium in the parliament. And it was all said that the 1991 reforms were dubbed by some as dictated by the IMF and the World Bank. And some criticized some of the reforms, like the repeal of the MRTP Act, as a sale to the capitalists, as a sellout to the capitalists. Under the shadow of a crisis, I still think that the 1991 crisis was more severe. Under the shadow of a crisis, we were in a position to push in reforms. But that is no longer possible. What are the important sectors that need reform? Power sector needs reform. The financial system needs reform. Governance needs a reform. Even agriculture and agricultural marketing needs reforms. The reform measures mentioned in the recent budget, such as those relating to the financial sector and strategy of disinvestment in selected sectors, are also important. But we need a lot more of discussion and consensus building before action is taken. timing and sequencing are also equally important. In fact, I have always held the view, labor reforms are better introduced when the economy is in the upswing, because the labor which gets disturbed because of the reforms introduced have less concern when the economy is actually on the upswing and moving fast. I think that's critically important. Sequencing and timing is important. Looking at the recent discussions on agricultural marketing reforms, the best course of action for the central government now may be to leave to each state to decide whether they want the measures or not. That will set the stage for experimental economics, and farmers themselves will be able to see the best possible course of action with respect to agricultural marketing reforms. Because one issue that has come up in relation to the agricultural marketing reforms is that whether it has intruded into the jurisdiction of the state governments. Therefore, the best course of action would be, here are what the central government appears to be the good reforms. Let each state decide, and leave it to each state to decide whether to adopt these reforms or not. That will, in my opinion, be the best solution to the problem. But as I said, reforms, as we move further, needs considerable amount of discussion, and the consensus building becomes critically important. I will summarize what I have said about fiscal prudence. It is extremely important that while there is need for expanding expenditures in a situation like this, we also need to have certain rules with respect to fiscal prudence. The Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act, which is known as the FRBM Act, laid down certain conditions which the government should fulfill in terms of fiscal prudence. The original FRBM Act said that the central government, the government of India, should restrict the fiscal deficit. The fiscal deficit is a term which economists use. It is simply the difference between the total expenditure of the government and the receipts of the revenue other than borrowing. So the difference between the two results in borrowing. Fiscal deficit is nothing but what constitutes the borrowing of the government. Now this was fixed at 3% of the GDP. Later on, the state governments also passed such legislations. Therefore, the state governments all taken together also can borrow up to 3% of GDP. The central government, as you know, the budget deficit was 9.5% in 2021 and projected 6.8% in 21-22. You can see they are way above the fiscal prudence limit. The fiscal prudence limit is set at 3%. And in 2021, the year that is coming to an end, the fiscal deficit will be about 9.5%. And the projected fiscal deficit for 21-22 is 6.8. I am of the opinion that in a very difficult situation like the one that we have faced in the current year and in the coming year, perhaps the movement away from the norm is not unjustified. Perhaps it is justified. But the most important question is that when do we get back to the fiscal prudence levels? I think that is critically important. Some people think that whether we really need that rules or whether such rules are necessary. I think rules are necessary. But always there is a big philosophical question, not only in economics, but in political science and everywhere, as what is called rules versus discretion. how much discretion should be given to a political authority or to an economic authority? How much should the political authority or the economic authority be governed by rules? Rules cannot be so inflexible that they cannot be violated. Rules must be such that there must be some flexibility about them. So I have argued in one of the papers that it's not a matter of rules versus discretion. It's a question of rules and discretion. You probably have rules, but it also provides for what is very often called the escape clause. Under certain conditions, that rules can be moved, the authorities can move away from the rules under certain conditions. That is what is called the escape clause. Therefore, I do not fault for the higher fiscal deficit in 2021 or 21-22. But it is extremely important. The rules are also to be focused on, and therefore you must get back to the rules that we have ourselves framed as quickly as possible. Some people say there is a rule, a general rule, that if the growth rate of the economy is equal to the interest rate of the economy, then the debt can grow and the debt GDP ratio will stabilize. Now, this is a bit of a complicated mathematics. I will not go into it. But I would like to say that even that proposition has its own limitations, because that proposition essentially implies that the growth rate that we are talking about is a potential rate of growth. It is not the rate of growth in 1 year. And I have to say that the potential rate of growth of the economy has fallen in the country. When between 2005-6 and 2007-8, the average rate of growth of the economy was 9.2%. We have fallen from that. We had written, D.K. Srivastava and I, a paper on the potential rate of growth of the economy and had estimated it around 8 to 9% in those days. But since then, the investment rate has fallen. Since then, the incremental capital output ratio has risen. Therefore, we estimate now the potential rate of the growth of the economy only at about 6%. Therefore, the idea that the growth rate is equal to interest rate will gives you a lot of freedom is not quite correct. There are also some people, you must have heard, that why are we bothered about the debt GDP ratio? The debt GDP ratio of India is 72.4%. Let me give you the debt GDP ratio, which is given in a table there. In US is 108.7. That is, the debt is almost equal to the GDP of United States. In UK, it is 85.4%. In Japan, believe it or not, it is 238% of the GDP. The debt is 2.3 times the GDP. So some people are asking the question, here are examples of other countries where their debt GDP ratio is very high. Why should we bother? We are only at 72.4. We can go further. But that is a very wrong way of looking at it. Because ultimately, the most important thing there is that interest payments as a proportion of the revenue receipts of the government is the most important thing. Revenue receipts, you understand the term. That is what the government is able to raise in the form of taxes and non-taxes. Interest payment is what they pay on the debt. Do you know, in today's budget, in 2020-21 budget, the interest payments out of the revenue receipts of the government of India is 44%. That is, out of the total revenue collected, 44% goes just to pay the interest rate. Now, I should immediately say that this is an extraordinary situation. It has become 44% because the income has fallen very steeply during the current year. But otherwise, it would have been about 38-40%. Center and the states taken together, of course, is even lower at 25.8% interest payments. But even then, you see, rules are important, and we should really be able to get back to that situation, not immediately, but over the next few years. But progressively, we really need to come down to the norm that was set before. So I think that is really the lesson that we have to draw out of the country. You know, we have been talking about India becoming a $5 trillion economy. And by the end of March 2020, India's GDP was 2.7 trillion. As I mentioned, GDP fell in 2021. GDP will rise in 21-22. So at the end of 21-22, we will be where we were at March 2020. So we will be roughly at about 2.7 trillion. Arithmetic shows that it takes a rate of growth of 9% consecutively for 5 years to reach the $5 trillion. That is, the India must grow 9% per annum for 5 consecutive years. Only then we will be able to get to the $5 trillion. I think we are nowhere near it. As we say that the best estimate that is now being made for 22-23 is something like 6%. So we have really to grow much faster. Therefore, the thing is that growth is important. Growth should become the focus of the undivided concern of the government. In my opinion, growth is the answer to many of our socio-economic problems. Many people talk about employment. Employment is not very different from growth. Of course, pattern of growth has also an impact on employment. But unless we grow at a faster rate, we cannot solve the problem of employment. We cannot provide for better health facilities or better water facilities and so on. Therefore, the final answer lies in a faster rate of economic growth, and that is what we should really be aiming at. And this can best be achieved by focusing on the economy, creating better and fairer conditions for doing business, building a consensus on economic policies, and avoiding socially divisive actions. That's about the economy. And let me end my address with a comment on the role of universities. A few words. Let me end on one note. Universities are not only centers of learning, but are incubators of new ideas. That is why our universities must always remain as arenas for discussion and debate. It is this that will lead to creativity. The right to express oneself freely must not be compromised under any circumstances. Let the spirit of inquiry burn bright in our campuses, and that is the essence of true education. Once again, let me wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing us, sir. May I now request the Chancellor to present medals to the graduating students. Merit awards are being conferred on 12 students for excellence. Medals for academic excellence in MBA. A gold medal is being awarded to the first rank holder for academic excellence in the MBA class of 2020. This year, the gold medal for academic excellence and a cash prize of Rs 25,000 goes to Mr. Aditya Bhatt. Aditya Bhatt is requested to come on the dais to receive the medal. Thank you. A silver medal is being awarded to the second rank holder for academic excellence. This year, the silver medal for academic excellence and a cash prize of Rs 10,000 goes to Mr. Arbaz Ali. Mr. Arbaz Ali is requested to come on to the dais and receive the medal. The Saurabh Sharma Memorial Gold Medal. The Saurabh Sharma Memorial Gold Medal Fund has been constituted by the parents of Mr. Saurabh Sharma, a bright and an upcoming student of MBA class of 2002 who met with a tragic end. The memorial medal is awarded to the first rank holder in MBA stream. This year, the award goes to Ms. Palak Kamra for securing the first rank in MBA marketing stream. Ms. Kamra is receiving the medal in absentia. Thank you, sir. In absentia. The Fayaz Ahmad Khan Memorial Gold Medal. The Fayaz Ahmad Khan Memorial Gold Medal Fund has been constituted by the parents of Mr. Fayaz Ahmad Khan, a bright and an upcoming student of MBA class of 2002, who met with a tragic end. The memorial medal is awarded to the first rank holder in MBA Finance stream. This year, the award goes to Mr. Srinivas Kiriti Amudala for securing first rank in MBA Finance stream. Mr. Srinivas Kiriti Amudala is receiving the medal in absentia. Medals for academic excellence in BBA. Gold medal is being awarded to the first rank holder for academic excellence in BBA program. This year, the gold medal for academic excellence and a cash prize of Rs 20,000 goes to Mr. Rohit G. Mr. Rohit G is requested to come on to the dais to receive the medal. A silver medal is being awarded to the second rank holder for academic excellence. This year, the silver medal for academic excellence and a cash prize of rupees 10,000 goes to Ms. Rajyashree Kanodia. Ms. Kanodia is requested to come on to the dais to receive the medal. Medals for academic excellence in B.Tech. A gold medal is being awarded to the first rank holder for academic excellence in the B.Tech program. This year, the gold medal for academic excellence in B.Tech and a cash prize of rupees 20,000 goes to Mr. Komalapatti Abhiroop Tejomai. Mr. Komalapatti Abhiroop Tejomai is requested to come on to the dais to receive the medal. A silver medal is being awarded to the second rank holder in academic excellence. This year, the silver medal for academic excellence in B.Tech and a cash prize of rupees 10,000 goes to Mr. Basi Reddy Ravichandra Reddy. Mr. Basi Reddy Ravichandra Reddy is requested to receive the medal. Medals for academic excellence in BBA LLB Honours Program. A gold medal is being awarded to the first rank holder for academic excellence in BBA LLB Honours Program. The gold medal for academic excellence in BBA LLB Honours and a cash prize of rupees 20,000 goes to Ms. Prerona Bhattacharjee. Ms. Bhattacharjee is requested to come onto the dais to receive the medal. A silver medal is being awarded to the second rank holder for academic excellence. The silver medal for academic excellence in BBA LLB Honours and a cash prize of rupees 10,000 goes to Ms. Nikita Agarwal. Ms. Agarwal is requested to come on to the dais and receive the medal. Medals for all-round excellence. The NJ Yashasvi Apollo Hospitals Award for Best Student for the all-round excellence was announced by Dr. Pratap C. Reddy, Chairman of Apollo Hospitals Group, in the convocation of the year 2012. This year, the gold medal and a cash prize of rupees 50,000 goes to Ms. Rajyashree Kanodia, a student of PBA class of 2020. Ms. Kanodia is requested to come on to the dais to receive the medal. A silver medal and a cash prize of rupees 25,000 is being awarded to the second rank holder for all-round excellence. This year, the award goes to Mr. Mayur Bhargava, a student of PBA, class of 2020, being the second rank holder. A special award. A special award, the NJ Yashasvi Apollo Hospitals Award for the Best Teacher, announced by Dr. Pratap C. Reddy, Chairman of Apollo Hospitals Group, during the convocation of the year 2012, carrying with it a citation and a cash prize of rupees 1 lakh, goes to Dr. Sudhamsh Mohan Reddy. Dr. G. Sudhamsh Mohan Reddy is requested to come on to the dais to receive the medal. Dr. Reddy is a faculty in the Science and Technology of IFHE. Thank you for presenting the medal, sir. May I now request Professor C.S. Shailajan, Dean, ICFAI Business School, Hyderabad, to present the PhD scholars who will be conferred their doctoral degrees to the Chancellor.
It is a pleasure to announce that this year 2 scholars have successfully defended their thesis and are being awarded the PhD degree. Honorable Chancellor Sir, I have the honor to present Mr. Pankaj Mohanty and Mr. Kameshwar Rao, who have been examined and found qualified for the award of PhD degrees in management.
I now request the PhD scholars to come on to the dais and present themselves in the order. First, Mr. Pankaj Kumar Mohanty. Thank you. Mr. Kameshwara Rao. I now request Professor C.S. Shailajan, Dean, ICFAI Business School, Hyderabad, to present the graduating students to the Chancellor for conferring the degrees.
Honorable Chancellor Sir, I also have the honor to present ABS Satyanarayana Nirmal Regumanda and 1180 others who have been examined and found qualified for the award of MBA degrees. Honorable Chancellor Sir, I also have the honor to present Bandari Nigil Vasant and 83 others who have been examined and found qualified for the award of MMS degrees. Honorable Chancellor Sir, I also have the honor to present Karan Kedavarapu and 573 others who have been examined and found qualified for the award of BBA degrees.
Thank you, sir. I now request Professor M. Srinivasa Reddy, Director, ICFAI Tech, to present the graduating students to the Chancellor for conferring the degrees.
Honorable Chancellor Sir, I have the honor to present Kuruvella Sai Kirtan and 140 others who have been examined and found qualified for the award of Bachelor of Technology degree.
I now request Professor A.V.N. Rao, Director, ICFAI Law School, to present the graduating students to the Chancellor for conferring the degrees.
Honorable Chancellor Sir, I have the honor to present Amdalapalli Venkata Lakshmi Prasanna and 3 others who have been examined and found qualified for the award of LLM degree. Honorable Chancellor Sir, I have the honor to present R.J. Abhinav Srivatsav and 83 others who have been examined and found qualified for the award of BBA LLB honors degrees. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Chancellor to confer the degrees to all the graduating students.
By the authority given to me by the Board of Management of the Foundation for Higher, ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education, I confer the degrees, and I charge that by thought, word, and deed, you prove yourself worthy of the award.
I thank Honorable Chancellor Sir on behalf of all the students. Congratulations to the graduated students. May I now request Dr. S. Vijay Lakshmi, Registrar, IFHE University, to propose the vote of thanks.
On behalf of IFHE, I want to thank Honorable Chancellor Sir, Dr. C. Rangarajan, Madam N. Shobharani Yashashvi, Chairperson of ICFAI Society, Sri V.R. Shankara Garu, President, ICFAI Society, and Sri E.N. Murthy Garu, Secretary, ICFAI Society, Vice Chancellor, Dr. J. Mahinder Reddy Garu, distinguished members of Board of Management of ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education, members of Academic Council, the Finance Committee, members of Planning and Monitoring Board, members of IQSC, and members of Strategic Management Committee, and to all our directors, deans, heads of departments, and to all our senior professors and my faculty colleagues and administrative staff and IT staff of IFHE who are directly and indirectly involved in making the convocation online a grand success. My best wishes to graduating students and wish them all the best in the coming future. I want to thank all the parents for their continuous support in the journey. I want to express my sincere thanks to Branding Department, especially to Mr. Sudhakar Rao Garu and all his team members for their continuous support and making the 10th Convocation a grand success. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Chancellor Sir to declare the convocation closed.
I declare the convocation closed.
Thank you. I request all present here to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, sir.